if someone was sad and I said something that made them smile, I have changed the world because there's a state that something was in that it no longer is. Hi, my name is Wamaitha. I am an Ashesi University 2022 graduate, and I'm currently a Programs and Partnerships Associate at the Boardroom Africa. So the Boardroom Africa is an organization that is working to improve gender boardroom diversity across the continent. We have the largest network of senior women, and our aim is to make sure that African boardrooms are more diverse and representative of just how culturally diverse Africa is. I first learned about Wings to Fly when I was, I think, 11 or 12. And when the results came out, and I'd done decently well, I was among like the top 10 in my school. And now the next question was, well, was I gonna go to high school and how was I gonna be able to like afford that? And now people are always talking about Wings to Fly. So I decided to apply for it. So they came to my home and I got Wings to Fly, which it feels surreal. Like even right now, talking about it still does feel surreal, genuinely. So got into Wings to Fly and went to Nembu Girls High School. Was able to like stay on top of my class, and that does open up opportunities when you do well in school. And ended up getting like an A- of 80. And worked for Equity. So Equity had made us the promise of if you do really well or you're the top of your county, then you get to come and work at a branch. So at that point, my mom and I lived in Rai, and the branch that I worked for was Equity Rai. Worked for Equity Rai for 8 months. I really enjoyed myself. My branch was super nice, and it also provided really great opportunities for growth. There was the fact that I was meant to be an ATM officer, but I really liked the online banking systems. So I took a keen interest in them. Someone was trying to open an online thing, or they're trying to make a transaction and it wasn't going through. I was like, hey, Wamaitha, like come and help with this. Our branch, I think at a period, we were like among the top 3 branches when it came to online banking. And that was really exciting because it was work that I had really pushed myself and put myself into. And I was seeing it pay off, so that was really exciting. So during that entire period, when I was with Equity doing Wings to Fly, we used to have like these annual congresses. And I'm really grateful for the congresses because I think they were my first realization of leadership. And after you graduate from high school, these things start to become way more realistic. You start to see that you can actually contribute to things. You can actually be part of projects that you care about. And as a result of these projects, lead change in your communities, create spaces for people to thrive. So also like during this entire period of after high school and working with Equity, I started working with an organization called Malkia. And Malkia organization works with girls in Kajiado who've gone through FGM and early marriages. They live in a rescue center, so you offer mentorship, tutoring, and like other different forms of support. And so I worked with Malkia for almost an year. And at the same time, I was also volunteering with Equity and at their high school mentorship. So we'd go to different schools. You'd have different students that are under you. You're trying to measure their progress, trying to see what grade did they have the previous semester, and how can you support them to like make sure that they get something better. So all these were my first sort of experiences with leadership and experiences with community work. And I got into a full scholarship in Ashesi University. The full scholarship was funded by MasterCard Foundation. That's why I tend to say for me, Equity and MasterCard are really huge parts of my story and my life so far. The learning experience that I got in Ashesi, they have very small classes, so it's very like intentional learning. You'd have classes where you really feel, and then you have like really interesting classes. I took a class on feminism and like the role that that has played in shaping society right now. I took an entire class on the politics of aid and how that influences and why our leaders take like those loans, and even just different leadership classes on what makes a good leader. And I also took a class with Sciences Po in France, which was on fighting inequalities in the 21st century. So how are we able to create policies that fight inequalities and that make more equitable worlds? And all of these experiences now lead me to what I do right now. So I started working with the Boardroom Africa last year. It was a summer internship. So during my final year in university, I was working 20 hours a week with them, and at the same time, like trying to finish uni. And once I graduated, I became a programs and partnerships associate. So I was a programs intern for an year. And in June, I became a programs and partnerships associate. So we take women through a training for 3 months. And after they get that, if they do the exams and they pass, they get a certificate in company direction. After they get the diploma, they can become chartered directors. In addition to that, we find organizations that also do work that is aligned with supporting different women, and we partner with them so that we can create better systems and better networks and offer them like all opportunities that they want to explore. Sitting in the work that the boardroom does, it will show you how much talent exists in Africa and how powerful female leaders are on the continent. So really do want to see what I can do there. I now know that I want to do my master's in policy and development, so either gender and policy or public policy or international development, and kind of like grow in that space. Ultimately trying to see if I can transition into like developing policy for governments or for organizations that are very closely linked to government, and be a lecturer. I do want to lecture either on sustainability, gender, governance in schools like Ashesi. The schools that I'm looking at doing my master's, I really like the public policy program at Sion Spo. It's really exciting. I like how comprehensive it is and the fact that it even includes an internship. So either Sion Spo, also McGill University. The different policy and development programs really do excite me too.